focus on hitting your goals in every area of your business. Remember, the universe rewards the bold. A leader has to take the risks. But I always like to have a little bit of a side conversation before we get things rolling and find out a little bit about you, Jeff. I mean, are you where are you at right now?
Right now, I live in Minnesota. We got a lake cabin up in northern Minnesota, and I'm looking out at the lake, beautiful lake. So I don't have the beach view that you get. Well, actually, I do have a beach view. It's a sand beach view of a lake versus an ocean, but this is our little getaway. So with remote working, I can work wherever. So it's kind of nice to be able to do that, right?
Isn't that incredible? And by the way, I actually don't, with all truthfulness and transparency. There we go. That's the right word. I don't have a beach view, actually. I have a pretty wide-ranging city view, and then I have a really nice mountain view. So I'm actually up kind of a little more inland from the beach. And I know, and people say, well, what's wealth on the beach, man? How did you come up with the wealth on the beach? Well, it was just simple. It was kind of a play on words. Kind of the just wanted to give people a mental visual of, hey, sure, when you become financially free, So, but really cool. We met at David Meltzer's event.
We did, yeah, right? Yeah. Kind of the launch party for the show, and we were on episode 3, I think it was, of this past season. And I got a call from Mike Allen last week that we were a fan favorite, team favorite, that we're going to be coming back to the comeback show. So that's going to record on the 22nd of this month. So I'm excited about that. So we didn't win the first prize in our episode, but I guess they liked us enough to let me come back again. So that's pretty exciting.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, hey, Jeff, look, I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about who you are, because my audience doesn't know who you are yet, but they're going to get to know you, because this is, y'all realize I got a show for you today, man. I got a show unlike any other show. I've done over 200 episodes of the Wealth on the Beach podcast, and I don't think I've ever talked to anyone or talked about a subject this unique as we are going to talk about today. We're going to talk about sex. Okay. We're going to talk about premature ejaculation, man. We're going all in with everything you ever wanted to know. This is the dude that's going to tell us about this stuff. And by the way, I'm just letting you know that all these questions that I'm going to be asking you, it's all for a friend. Okay. I'm just asking for a friend, and just want to make sure that you're clear on that. But Jeff is a proven medical device industry leader with over 20 years of sales and marketing experience. He's been all over the place. Medtronic, American Medical Systems, Boston Scientific Systems, where he led the global launch of several high-profile medical device product launches. Extensive global marketing experience in the medical device field, direct to patient marketing campaigns, been featured in numerous publications. Guys, he's been in Forbes magazine. He's been on CNET. He's been in Men's Health magazine. Even Jimmy Kimmel has talked about this dude. He must be famous, all right, if Jimmy Kimmel is talking about you. And so look, man, you got to tell me, is premature ejaculation really a problem for a lot of people? Again, asking for a friend.
Well, asking for a friend, that I get a lot of people asking for friends. So it's like, I don't know if there's a market out there if everybody's asking for a friend, but I guess I don't know. I haven't had that many conversations with my friends about my sex life. So I guess I'm not open enough to have that conversation. But, credit for you for even saying the words premature ejaculation. Most people are like, you know what I'm talking about. But just for you to say it, Daniel, is a good step, a positive step in the direction for society. So but yeah, it's a true condition, and it affects 30% of men. And many people are surprised to hear about that, because it's not something us guys want to talk about. Let's face it.
So can you describe premature ejaculation and kind of like let us know, like, what does that mean really? Like, let's start with that, so that way our audience understands what it means. Like, is there a certain amount of time? Like if I last this long, I'm good. If I last this long, it's considered this. So maybe elaborate.
Yeah, so you kind of alluded to my background. My background is medical devices. So I'm going to give you kind of that medical clinical definition of premature ejaculation. And it's a condition that medical societies recognize. The FDA actually considers it a disease or disorder, which I think is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But the medical literature defines premature ejaculation as 1 minute of penetration for an ejaculation to occur. Now, that's a hard and fast time cutoff. There's also definitions, which I like, is if it causes distress in your relationship, that's considered premature ejaculation. So whether that's 30 seconds or 4 minutes, if you're looking for a longer period of time, either you or your partner, and it's causing some sort of performance anxiety or stress, premature ejaculation. But that label is something that the medical societies have pinned on it, and physicians actually can get reimbursed for a diagnosis of premature ejaculation. But again, our research suggests guys don't want to be told they have premature ejaculation, right? It's just not a label that people want. They know they've got a desire to go longer, and they're looking for something that will help them. But in the society where we like to be quick to label things, the label of premature ejaculation is 1 minute or less after penetration.
So is this something that, has there been other devices in the past that have tried to, like, what are some of the, maybe things that you've seen or heard that guys have done to try to last longer, right? Other than think about baseball. I mean, anything, anything else?
Well, usually the mother-in-law works quite well. Think about the mother-in-law. That is a true statement there. And
well, I don't know if she's hot. I don't know. Well, maybe I don't know. That might not be a good one. So, but anyways, go ahead.
That is true. And you mentioned the Jimmy Kimmel thing. Yes, he joked about us and me in his monologue for about 1 minute 46 seconds, which is pretty good advertising. We'll take that for free. But kind of at the end of the shtick or the joking, he said, "Well, if you want a less expensive way to not ejaculate early, there's Ted Cruz bed sheets out there. So I guess pick your poison, whatever it is, your mother-in-law, baseball, Ted Cruz, whomever. If that works for you, then great. So be it. But to your question, the standard forms of treatment today are numbing sprays or delay sprays that you rub on the penis, which it takes time to absorb, but it actually numbs the penis up. And if it's not absorbed all the way, it actually can rub off on the partner, and that partner becomes numb. So not ideal. And then on the other extreme, there's pills that the FDA hasn't approved for premature ejaculation. They're actually antidepressants. And what these antidepressants have are a side effect of delaying an ejaculation. And that works for that, but there's all kinds of other side effects associated with antidepressants. So, whether it's delay sprays or creams or antidepressants, that's the standard that exists today in terms of premature ejaculation treatments. There's been no innovation in this space for over 20 years. So what we're trying to do is bring something that's been tried and proven to be safe and effective in other areas of the body, just never taken down there before to treat the sexual dysfunction.
So how does Viagra play in this space? I mean, is that something that would be considered kind of solving the problem as well?
Well, what Viagra will do, so Viagra and erectile dysfunction, erections, is all about blood flow in and out of the penis. That's what causes an erection. Premature ejaculation is really a neural issue. It's nerve sensitivity from the penis to the brain. So completely different mechanism of actions. Now, what Viagra can help do is give you a longer erection, but you still would ejaculate early. Now, you would still maintain that erection, so it could go longer, but you're not going to have that sensation that you would leading up to that ejaculation. So in a way, Viagra could be used, but it's more intended to allow someone to have an erection longer. It doesn't delay the orgasm part of the experience. So it's a common question that many people ask for their friends. What's the difference of Viagra or erections? Well, I mean, going to help with erections.
Yeah, I mean, I've never taken Viagra before, so I have literally zero knowledge about how that works. But yeah, that's interesting to know, because I would have assumed that, if you're having a 4-hour erection, then, okay, we're going to finish in 4 hours or whatever that, you would finish. So to me, that's interesting that you explained that. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah, no doubt. You can go a long time with Viagra. Just that ejaculation part of it, isn't really impacted by that. So, So yeah, it's a common question. And, what we're trying to do with premature ejaculation isn't, we don't have any data to suggest that it's going to help with erections. Again, mechanism of action completely different. Blood flow in and out of the penis versus a neural response.
So let me just get this straight. So, okay. So when you talk about, because I really want to get scientific about this too, because I mean, obviously you're a scientist, or you've been dealing with this for so long. So the challenge that men are having with, premature ejaculation is that there's certain nerves that are more sensitive for that man versus other men that go forever. They don't have that sensitivity type situation. Is that what you're saying?
That's the theory. Now, the reality is there's no real explanation on why someone ejaculates earlier than another person. The cause of it is unknown. From an evolutionary standpoint, it's completely normal. If you're an animal out in the Sahara Desert and you're trying to get it on and spread your genes, you want to get it done quickly and efficiently so you can move on to the next thing or not be eaten, for lunch by something. So in a weird way, I mean, humans are the only species that are looking to delay an ejaculation. So in a sense, people that ejaculate quickly are, quote, normal from an evolutionary standpoint. So we're trying to create this weird situation where we're trying to, fool nature, if you will, by causing a delay or confusion of the nerves that carry that signal from the tip of the penis up to the brain, because it's the nerve endings in the penis that get that pleasure sensation, send that up to the brain saying, okay, this feels good, and then sends a message back down to ejaculate. So what we're trying to do is really turn down that volume of nerve activity temporarily, so that a guy can last longer. And ultimately, we think it's about partner satisfaction. So ultimately, it's that partner who's not being satisfied, whether the partner is male or female. That's who's not getting the level of satisfaction. So that's kind of that unmet need there is, yes, guys are looking to last longer, but why are they looking to last longer? And what we think we're trying to offer is we're trying to sell satisfaction for the male and or their partner.
Well, I think you're solving a problem for, just call it, like you said, 30% of men. You're just solving a problem. You're just saying, okay, now, so the question is if that guy goes the 1 minute today, are you saying that this device could delay it for how much longer? Like, would it delay it another minute, or delay it another 5 minutes, or delay it, explain that.
Yeah, so what we're doing, it's a wearable patch that is worn during intercourse, and it's worn in the perineal area. Some people like to call it the taint or the gooch, as my 22-year-old son likes to call it, the gooch. 2 years ago, I asked him if he'd try a prototype. He's like, Dad, I'm not putting that on my gooch. I'm like, what does gooch mean? And so, it's the taint, but it's technical medical terminology. It's called the perineal area. That's the area between the scrotum and the anus. And that's where the ejaculatory nerves run from the penis to the brain. So what we're doing with this patch, the patch is delivering small electrical impulses that basically just confuse that nerve transmission during intercourse. So you wear it during intercourse, you place it just before penetration, similar to a condom, how you use a condom. You put a condom on before penetration, and after ejaculation, you take it off, you throw it away. That's the same thing that we're trying to do here. So wearable patch, it's actually controlled via an app. What we found out in our studies is that everybody responds to neural stimulation differently. Your skin hydration levels are going to be different than mine. Your level of fat down there is going to be different than mine. So this app allows the user to customize the settings for their own individual profile. And we're still early in the process here. We've got a second generation prototype. Because we're delivering energy to tissue, we need to get FDA clearance from a safety standpoint. So there's a whole bunch of tests that we need to do. But we've done proof of concept testing with 10 couples in a controlled study, and all 10 men reported a numeric increase in ejaculation time. And on average, it was 45% improvement. So 45% sounds good, and we're really happy about that. But if you last 1 minute, 45% really doesn't get you to where you want to go. With an app and with more product development changes that we've made, we're confident we're going to be able to get that number up. But if you last 4 minutes, you're not diagnosed as having PE. 45% gives you another 2 minutes. So 30% of the men out there suffer from that 1 minute or less, but there's another 40% of guys out there that don't meet that clinical definition of PE that want to last longer. So in total, that's 7 out of 10 men walking around that at some point in time want to last longer. So big market, not something that guys want to talk about.
So you're telling me, you're telling me that in the patch, so there's like a little Band-Aid thing. I was reading about it a little bit, but there's it's almost like a little Band-Aid you're going to put down there. And inside the Band-Aid has it basically like Bluetooth technology inside of the patch that is going to confuse the nerves down there to essentially get you to last a little bit longer.
Yeah, the patch, actually, we have a electronics module that attaches to the patch that is rechargeable and reusable. And we estimate it's got a useful life of 2 years. You need to clean it after each use, but that snaps into a patch that has the electrodes and the circuitry that takes the energy from this patch or this control unit to the patch. And then after you're done, you just detach it, throw away the patch, and clean the what we call the pulse generator. And the pulse generator has a rechargeable battery, the Bluetooth, all the circuitry needed to deliver those electrical impulses. So again, it's not new technology. It's just a different, innovative way to take it and apply it for sexual dysfunction.
How'd you come up with this, man? I mean, obviously it wasn't for you. I mean, we know for sure it wasn't for you, but for everybody else, right? For all those other men out there. But I mean, how did this come to your mind and how did this start, man? Tell me a little bit about the story, the backstory a little bit.
Yeah, well, my first company that I ever worked for from a public company perspective was a company called Medtronic, and I worked in the neurostim business, where I was a product manager, and we had a product that would be implanted into the body to manage chronic pain. So people that have chronic pain, they've tried everything, surgery, drugs, and in many cases, it just doesn't work. So what Medtronic had was a product that is implanted into the body. Electrodes would be put on the spinal cord, and electricity would be delivered to the spinal cord to mask that pain signal from the source of the pain to the brain. So that was amazing technology, right? Electricity is used for Parkinson's patients that have, Parkinson's. You can put electrodes into the brain; it masks the signal. So after I left Medtronic, I went to another company and I got exposed to the area of sexual health and wellness. And I'll admit it, I'm one of the 70% of guys out there that would like to extend the experience at some point in time. So I thought, what about some crazy patch idea that you could put down there that could inhibit the brain, just like you can inhibit pain signals? So I approached a Harvard-based urologist at the time. I said, what do you think about this idea? He said, Jeff, that's a brilliant idea. But he said, more importantly, do you understand how big of a problem this is? And I said, well, I know I'm one of the 70% of guys. He's like, 30% of men suffer from PE. I'm like, no way. Not possible. He's like, that's my point, Jeff. We don't like to talk about it. And I, as a doctor, don't like to bring it up because I'm not happy with existing treatment options. And it was at that moment, it's like, there's an opportunity here. So, basically filed some patents, put a team together, got to be a part of an accelerator program, which really helped me develop the business pitch. And another big aha moment for us as a company is we were one of 4 finalists that Procter & Gamble invited to their first ever innovation challenge in Las Vegas as part of the Consumer Electronics Show. So they brought us there and we won the pitch. Here I am, in the Procter & Gamble booth, which arguably Procter & Gamble is one of the, leading brands in the world. For me to be on their stage and saying penis and ejaculation was that aha moment to say, wow, society's come a long way. If they can be interested in it, why can't anybody be interested in it? So that kind of led us to where we're at today.
All right. I got to ask this question because I'm a huge, huge fan of Shark Tank. Will this ever be a Shark Tank pitch? Have you ever thought about that?
We've thought about it, and we were fortunate to be a part of Dave Meltzer's 2-minute drill. So we were a contestant on that, which was a great experience. So Shark Tank, yeah, if there's an opportunity, why not, right? I mean, there's risk reward there, but in the case of Jimmy Kimmel, I mean, no press is bad press if you can get that. And not that we got bad press from Jimmy Kimmel, but he joked about me, made fun of me, made fun of the company, but at the same time, he acknowledged it was a problem. So yeah, Shark Tank, I mean, this would be good content. I think it would get viewers, it would get clicks. So if Shark Tank's out there, give me a call. Let's talk.
Without a doubt, man. I'll call my buddy Mark Cuban today and I'll have a little conversation with him, maybe get you on. But anyways, man, so where did you grow up, man? Like what was your upbringing like as a child? And what'd your parents do, man? I mean, how'd you grow up? Rich, poor, good kid, bad kid? What was your childhood like?
Yeah, I grew up in South Minneapolis, kind of in I'd say lower middle class area. My dad was my parents divorced when I was in kindergarten. So for a long time, I was, single mom with my single mom, seeing her work multiple jobs. And then she remarried. And my stepfather, who I consider my biological dad right now, he's a welder. My mom was a secretary, so moved on to various different stages. So, I would say lower middle class. And when I was a sophomore in high school, my parents said, okay, we've had enough of the city living. We're going to move out to the suburbs. And for me, that was a big life-changing moment because all my friends were from the city. And here I was, going to go from the city to the farm area. At the time, it was a farm area. Now it's a big city in the Minneapolis area. But that was a big change for me, but it changed for the good because if they hadn't done that, I'd probably be dead. I was hanging around the wrong crowd and drinking shots of, vodka before, middle school classes started. So who knows where I would have been, but I don't think it would have been here. And that kind of set me on the right course, if you will. And then I ended up going to a private Catholic college. And then here I am today developing premature ejaculation products. So going from a private Catholic college and talking about premature ejaculation, it's like, whoa, how did this happen? So
Yeah, you're a long way from home, man. That's well, it's interesting because what you just talked about was very similar to my story. I mean, I grew up, I was a bad kid also. Um, you know, Smoking too young and drinking too young and doing, getting in trouble and my parents were divorced also as at a young age but it was a stepfather that came in and remarried my mom and kind of gave us a little bit of a step up in our life and gave us a little bit of an edge on put us in better neighborhoods. I grew up in a not so good neighborhood the first 10 years and then lived a little apartment with my mom and my brother and then things got better after my stepfather that raised me and my brother came in. And so I was very fortunate that my parents got a divorce, believe it or not. I mean, a lot of people don't say that, but I look back and go, that was one of the defining moments of my life, because had I not got into those better neighborhoods and hanging around those better people, I mean, I still got in trouble in those other neighborhoods. I actually went to some good neighborhoods and got in trouble as well, but it was just a little bit of a different situation. And of course I met the right people and was able to, get recruited and build a company that I'm very, very proud of today. So so as far as like, obviously you've had your share of success. I mean, you're in your vacation home right now, so you've had your share of monetary success and of course you're an entrepreneur, man, and that's a scary thing, to become an entrepreneur and to to take all the risks that you've taken so far. Can you maybe just shine a little bit of light onto that? Because a lot of people right now watching or listening, they're entrepreneurs, man. They're small business owners right now, and they're scared. I just had a conversation with a guy this morning. He's like, man, we sold a house, and then I went full time into my business, but right now it's like it's scary because I'm eventually I'm going to run out of funds here, man. I need to start making money. I need to start. So can you shed the light of what it feels like to be a real entrepreneur and what real risk really looks like?
yeah, I know. I mean, no doubt it is scary. And for me, it took a long time for me to get the courage, honestly, to tell myself and then my wife, hey, I want to quit my good paying full-time job, good benefits, stock options, all that good stuff that you get in a well-paying job, to say, okay, I'm going to stop doing that and I'm going to go into this area of premature ejaculation. What? How do I tell my kids that I want to do this? How do I tell my friends I want to do this? How do I tell my coworkers that's what I'm going to do? And then to my business partners who, good friends, we coached, baseball for years together. I approached them about this opportunity and pitched them, and they bought into it. And it was our seed money. The three of us, we put in our own money and bootstrapped it for a few years before we went out to friends and family and said, okay, this is what we want to do. We think there's an opportunity here. And honestly, that was the hardest part for me, is getting up that courage to say, okay, this is what I want to do, and am I okay of kind of having this label of being that guy, that PE guy? But I'll tell you what, once I made that decision to do it, it was super liberating, because I just felt like, wow, the world's been lifted from my shoulders. And there's not been one person that said, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. It's been quite the opposite. It's like, good for you. This is, I suffer from this. How do I get to be a part of your study? So it's been super liberating, and it's scary. I mean, anything where you're comfortable and you go into the unknowns, it's absolutely scary. But I always tell myself, I don't want to be on my deathbed, wherever that is and whatever it is, saying, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have tried this, because you don't have those second chances. So it's scary, but for me, getting a couple partners that believed in me, believed in the vision, believed in the opportunity to go in with me, was what I needed. And then, of course, the support of my wife and family as well. You need that support mechanism there, because it's rough, man. I mean, you got to manage the highs and the lows of startup world.
How do you handle when, now you had a lot of support, but that's probably not your entire life. I'm sure people have doubted you before in your life, and I'm sure you've had failures. I'm sure you've had, times where maybe things weren't looking as good. And how did you get through those times? How did you make it, rise above that limiting belief and that doubting yourself and just feeling like, man, am I ever going to make it? And, like, how did you deal with stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to take it personal. There's only so much, that I can control, right? I mean, the technology that we're using, it is what it is, right? And we're trying to figure out how to optimize it for what we're trying to do. But in terms of, failure, setbacks, I mean, we've been fortunate so far to have received a tremendous amount of media attention. And that goes to motivate me. So those days where I'm down and like, oh, this ain't working, I look back to, the interest that we've gotten so far. I mean, literally hundreds of emails from men around the world saying, hey, I heard about what you're doing. Help me. I'm at the breaking point of my relationship. I think I'm going to lose the women of my dreams. Help. I need help. I will pay you to be a part of our study. So when I see those messages, it just takes that negativity and just puts it one step forward for me. And it's like, okay, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm literally trying to improve the sexual health and wellness of millions of couples worldwide. And just keeping that in the back of my mind, that helps, getting those down days. But there are the down days. I mean, we're going through right now a funding raise, and it's tough raising money right now. I mean, it is not easy. And a lot of the venture capital companies out there, sex is not something that they invest in. They're not comfortable with it right now. Or if they're interested in it, they want to see traction and revenue, and we're pre-revenue. So we've been fortunate to raise money from angel investors and family offices. But now we're trying to get to that next level, and it's tough. I mean, I hear no every single day, and you learn not to take it personally. And it's just one of those things where you're going to hear 99 no's to one yes. You just need that one yes.
That's it. You just need that one yes, man. I mean, when you were talking about, are you going to be the PE guy? It reminds me, there's a guy, and I tell this story to my agents all the time. By the way, I have a financial services company, and I have about 1,500 agents and about 50 locations. And we're always recruiting, and we're always, building new leaders and just trying to expand, right? Every day we're just trying to expand new agents, new licensed agents. But I used to always, when I would speak in front of a lot of groups, I would always tell them about the mattress guy and this is why I know you'll be, wildly successful one day, is because there's a mattress company out here in California. And I don't know if it's just in California or not, but, he always says in his commercials, if I can't beat your price, your mattress is free. And, he has this like real gimmicky song and all these funny commercials and everything. But I always tell like my agents that you got to go all in, you got to go all in, even though you might not be looked at in the best light. I'm a recruiter. So of course, people would see me coming and they would go, oh man, go the other way, because he's going to probably try to recruit me. Like I had to go through that for so many years because I was constantly looking for recruits. Not that I would be out there just, hitting people over the head to try to recruit them. But of course I'm going to have a conversation. If I felt that it was right, might be a little, hey, you ever keep your options open or something like that. But I got shit from family. I got shit from friends. I got shit from, I mean, I've had people laugh at me. I've had people tell me my business is a scam and it's never going to work. And I had my best friend growing up. We cut our relationship because of our business. I mean, because he wouldn't just at least support me or be a friend to me. And so I've been through every one of those situations. But that mattress guy, I tell him like he's the mattress guy. When he walks in that door, they make fun of him behind his back. You know what I mean? They make fun of him and they say, that's the mattress guy. But I guarantee you that mattress guy is living in a big mansion right now. I guarantee the mattress guy has more money than most of his childhood friends or family or acquaintances that he had as he was growing up in the business. And so I'm glad you said that, because I just think that once I decided that I was going to be the financial guy, I was going to be the recruiting guy, I was going to be that guy, my life just got so good,
Right.
like there was a weight lifted off. I didn't have to hide anymore. I just got to say, I'm there, man. This is me. You like me, you don't like me. It is what it is, but this is my mission. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. And I'm all in, man. So you're either with me or against me. Doesn't mean you got to buy from me. Doesn't mean you got to join me to be my friend or anything like that. Just support me. Just say nice things about me. Just be a friend, because that's what friends do. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, right on. I mean, usually when you're with your group of buddies, you don't want to be that guy, right? There's always that guy, but you don't want to be that guy. Well, I want to be that guy, right? I want to be that guy that, on my tombstone, I want to be known as a PE guy. I want to know I made a difference in the world somehow, some way, whether that's small, whether that's, in our case, a big opportunity. And again, it's having that personal desire, mission, be driven to make that hard choice. And they're hard choices. They are hard choices to do. But once you make that, again, for me, it was super liberating, lifted a bunch of weight off my shoulders, but it put me into this new area of being stressed and pressure, et cetera. And that for me is a big part of what I go through now. It's like, okay, cool. I'm cool with who I am and what I'm known as, but how do I stop thinking about this, right? I mean, it's 24/7, 365. And yeah, I'm at a nice vacation home right now, but I'm fucking working here all the time, right? My wife's like, can you stop now? Let's go out for a boat ride. It's like, it's all consuming. So what I found in this evolution of this process is now I'm at the point of how do I get that balance in my life, right? I mean, it's never gone. There's always something to do. You're always going to have emails to follow up on. You're always going to be wanting to, test messages with consumers. How do you separate yourself, and how do you make sure you have that balance? And even when you have that balance, if I'm out with my wife, how do I make sure I'm focused on her and our relationship, and not thinking about the business, because it's always there? And how do you turn that off? I don't know if I quite got there yet and have that figured out, but this
is how I know you're going to be wildly successful, is because everything that you're feeling right now is exactly what I felt for 7 to 10 years. So now, again, I mean, and maybe it's going to happen even faster for you, but for me, it was 7 to 10. I'd started in business at 21. In 7 years, I was quote unquote financially free at that point, but it was all consuming. I mean, that 7 to 10 years, it was all consuming. It was everything, every day, every minute, every focus, I mean, look, me and my girlfriend at the time, we were together for 5 years, man. And we sat in the car and I was running my business. And I remember locking the door and I'm like, man, I'm drawing the line in the sand. I'm like, you're either with me or you're against me, because I'm doing this and you're pulling me down and it just ain't working. So we're going to end this deal right now. Now she decided to stay and she decided to help. And, we were able to accomplish some great things together. But the truth is, man, is everything you're saying is what everybody should be thinking for a period of time. I think that, 3 to 5 years, I mean, because I could have probably stopped after 3 to 5 years and then got really balanced. I went longer because I wanted more, right? I wanted to achieve a lot more, but I think in 3 to 5 years, if you keep doing what you're doing right now, I think that you'll be able to wake up with some, good success and say, look, And then how you balance it, what I would say is that at some point it's called compartmentalization. You just compartmentalize your life and you say, okay, so I'm going to only answer emails for 1 hour a day. And if I don't get the email, I don't get the email. I'll answer it tomorrow. And then, so you put all the areas of your life in a box. And so that way, when you're with your wife, you're just with your wife. That's it, man. I ain't answering emails. Matter of fact, I'm going to leave the phone at home. I'm not even going to touch my phone. If somebody wants me, they'll get me. And one of the best decisions that I ever made, and you know that how I did this, but even setting up this podcast, I only do podcasts on Wednesday mornings, by the way. So if somebody wants to come on my podcast, they got to figure out a way to get on Wednesday morning, because if you notice that's the only availability is on Wednesday morning. And I do that for a reason, because I don't want to be doing podcasts every day. I want to make, so this is right here when I'm in this block of time, I'm with you. Usually for the morning of the Wednesday, I'm just with the people that I'm interviewing. I'm just with my coaching program. I'm just with those people. But then when I leave and I go want to play with my kids or go hang out with my kids, I can do that and not even think about anything else. And then I organize my calendar in such that if you want a meeting with me, I just send you my Calendly. It's a 15-minute blocked out. You know all this because David Meltzer talks about, like, hey, I'll give you a 5-minute conversation. You know what I mean? It's like he blocks it out for like 5 minutes. And he'll give you 5 minutes. And then once that 5 minutes is done, man, I got to go. We're rocking and rolling. You know what I mean? So though that, Jeff, I mean, again, not to get, I know you know all this stuff, but just for everybody listening, to answer some of those questions, these are very important things that all of us as entrepreneurs, as business owners, that we do to maintain our sanity, because we will go absolutely nuts. Because most of us that are in this space of entrepreneurship, we are so freaking, on it. Like we just want to get it done and we want to win and we want to achieve. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That is a totally healthy thing. It's a totally great thing. But to help out, the compartmentalization is something that I think has worked unbelievably well for me and my life thus so far. So anyways, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, right on. And I think that's something for, wannabe entrepreneurs, knowing that before making that plunge. You got to know that. You got to know that it's going to come at some stage. It may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week, but it's going to come. And you got to be prepared for it. And you got to make sure you have that support structure prepared for it. And I wasn't, right? I didn't know it was going to be so all consuming. And now I'm in that all consuming mode and, trying to figure out how to get out of it in a way to have more balance. And again, it's not affecting our relationship. At least I don't think so. My wife hasn't said so, but
and you guys have great sex. You have great long lasting sex. So I mean, that's beautiful, right? I mean, she ain't going nowhere, man. I promise you, she ain't going nowhere. She is staying put, man. She's like, I got a winner right here, baby.
Gift, right?
That's it. You're giving her a gift every time. It's wonderful. Love it.
That's right.
So anyway, how do all of us guys, as we kind of wrap up here, how do all of us guys get involved in the study as quickly as possible? And how do we get a hold of you? And how do we get to know you? And how do we follow you? And because look, no, I mean, in all truthfulness, there's going to be guys that are going to listen to this or watch this on YouTube, and they're going to say, hey, man, I want to know. I mean, I got to know. I want to know, and just tell me what I got to do. And so, yeah. So how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can follow us, Morari Medical, Morari Medical, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our product landing page, again, we're not approved to sell the product yet. It has to get FDA approval, but we've got a landing page called Time for More, Time for MOR. More is our product name, because I don't know what your more is, Daniel. You may want more time. You may want more intensity. You may want more communication. You need to decide your more. So we've got a product that will give you more. So timeformore.com landing page. You can go up there, sign up for company updates. But again, all the social media channels would be awesome. We're trying to build that following out there and really build this community. And once we launch our product, we want to have a community out there where people can go and compare and share their information in an anonymous way, because we know that people are competitive, right? And if you can go out there and learn from others in an anonymous way, about what settings work, what doesn't work. That's that community that we're trying to build. So would love for everybody to join us in this venture to help improve the sexual health and wellness of millions of couples worldwide. And this is our first attempt. This is a technology platform. We know on the female side of things, there's issues related to orgasm, too slow, too quick. And we've got a platform technology that someday can help on some of the female dysfunction as well. So we're pretty excited about what we're doing here. We love to talk about it. We love to joke about it. You have to joke about it, not take yourself so seriously, but appreciate the opportunity. And for all those guys out there that want to ask for their friends, reach out to me, in any of the social media channels. Would love to have those conversations with you.
All right. So I'm going to ask my audience first, a couple of things I want to ask of my audience before we get done here is, number one, if you haven't gone out and gotten and bought Wealth on the Beach, the book just came out last month. So if you haven't got that yet, please go onto Amazon today. Just search Wealth on the Beach. Make sure you leave an Amazon review, good or bad. I don't care. Just want a review. But make sure you go get that. Check that out. It's really, we were the #1 new released book in financial services called Wealth on the Beach. So I'm very, very proud of that. And make sure you go out and do that today. The other thing is, I would really appreciate if you get a hold of Jeff and, send him a DM. You've just finished the podcast here. Send him a DM and say, Jeff, man, I really appreciate the conversation. It was so enlightening, so much I learned, so much, great value. And I want to get to know you. Send him a little message and say hi and thank you and all that good stuff. Get to know him, and then go to his website and make sure that you follow him on all the social media platforms. Make sure you sign up for the updates and emails and all that stuff. Because look, it might not even be you, by the way, right? You might be somebody that this does not affect, but you might know someone. You might be able to down the road say, hey, I have an idea for you. If you, not that it's something that's talked about every day, but come on, people joke about things. You might hear somebody joke about something and maybe that's their issue or whatever. So look, just to spread the message. I think, Jeff, you have something here that could be magical. I think you have something here that could be a big deal. It's from an investment standpoint. I don't know. We're going to talk later, about possibly, those opportunities. But let me tell you something, man. I think you got something here. You should be very proud of yourself about what you have done. And I think you really are going to make the world a better place. So, hey, thank you so much, everybody. Make sure that you continue to dream bigger. Absolutely get after it. Most importantly, do it now. God bless you. We'll see you at the top.